Good morning, friends, and welcome back to Starladder European coverage. We're here with day 25 of the 10th season, and it's the day of Alliance. We've got 4 games, and every single one of them features the Swedish champions.
Excellent. An Alliance quadruple header.
Whoa.
Quadruple header, if you will. It's going to be a lot of Alliance. They've been behind on playing some of these games, and we got to get them caught up. So their first match today, it's going to be against xGame.kz.
Yep.
xGame.kz, sporting 3-10 record. They're at the bottom.
Yep.
So they might get a little rambunctious. They could be pulling out the clown shoes, but it's very important, though, for Alliance to get these wins in today to make sure they can secure a spot, get up there on top of the ranks, maybe get into tiebreakers, or just, you know, get qualified to move on.
Today's an interesting day because Alliance are the upper dog in a lot of these matchups. They really shouldn't lose any of these on paper. They're 6-4 right now, and if they win all of these, they'll actually be in a good spot contending for the top 4. If they take a couple of stumbles, a few missteps, then things could get rocky pretty quick, Cuddle Guy.
Well, it's 6.82, so anything can happen.
Absolutely. Let's pop into the draft, and whoa, daddy, a few things jumping out. First things first, McGee. First picked by xGame.kz.
Well, that's a bold move, Cotton. We'll see if it pay off right there. Ogre McGee did receive a fair amount of buffs in this recent patch. His HP regen has been boosted up tremendously from, like, what was it, 0.25 or 0.5 up to 2.25.
Yes, 0.25.
Yeah, and he already comes with a tremendous amount of armor to start with, one of the highest in the game at 7. His multicast percentage at level, level 1. His level 6 at level. I didn't think I had coffee today. I think is my problem right now.
You get ×2 very frequently.
40%. It went from like 30 to 40%. So nearly a coin flip's chance for him to just get that double set of Fire Blast at level 6. So fantastic stuff. Their second pick is going to be Magnus. So somewhere out there, a very sweaty Hani is upset about this one.
Yeah, they do. Let's see, who is their Magnus player? I guess it's Wadafaka. I haven't seen them running much Magnus in the past, but new patch, new ideas, and they'll switch it up a little bit. Alliance open with the Naga Siren and Bat Rider, and they'll third pick the Vengeful Spirit. Probably a good choice. Deny pick so that they can't grab the Bat Rider for themselves. We'll see. We were talking about that Puck Vengeful Spirit combo yesterday, and apparently it's all the rage in China. That's what LDZ was telling us. So
I like it.
There is some hope, though, for some Vengeful Spirit Puck combinations.
It's definitely a funky, fresh combo, but a lot of teams are feeling like Vengeful Spirit's one of the top Platinum tier supports coming in 6.82. So
Platinum tier.
We'll see. I mean, she's got all the tools she used to have here. The synergy of the minus armor. Can't go wrong with the stun, and she does have a high ceiling to become a good late game factor with the ability to add some extra DPS onto the field. So gotta like that. A Bat Rider picked up here, so I would imagine this could be Bulldog's hero, but not going for Nature's Prophet. It's not been banned altogether. I guess they just have something else in mind, so they're just going to skip the potential of doing that. One of his more signature heroes, I'd say. And the other one, I would say, is the Lone Druid buffs that's been popped out. The Bear being able to use mana, Necro Book, Mask of Madness. Hell, the guy could even TP to base if he wanted to.
Watch
out.
And
they don't want to. They don't want to go for it just yet. They're thinking Bat Rider maybe, or maybe there's something I'm missing. This could be a mid lane Bat Rider for all I know.
Yeah, well, all right. This is getting more interesting.
Well. It's Puck.
I was thinking this would be a Chessie Naga Siren headed mid, but now it feels a little more likely we'll see the Puck towards the mid lane, the offlane Bat Rider, support Naga and Venge with Loda hero still to come. Possibly a Mirana. So a lot of good setup there. We've seen Loda playing a lot of position 1 Mirana lately, so... a lot of potential, though. These are lanes that are hard to guess. They could also try and jungle the Bat Rider early on, which is not quite so good these days, but that doesn't mean that they won't try to do it. It is a little rough getting going at that level 1. It's viable in the sense that like starting level 1 Lycan in the jungle is, quote, viable, but not very good.
No, certainly not. And we got a couple of spicy flavors here, Lina and Dragon Knight. I don't think I've even seen Dragon Knight played in this 6.82 patch. I don't even know if he was really touched at all in this patch at all. But regardless, he still has a job that he can do. With him and Magnus both on the field, this is interesting as far as what the laning is going to be. If You know, it's questionable really from both sides. They could put the Batrider in the mid lane for the side of Alliance, and if you do that, really both Dragon Knight and Magnus would not care for that kind of a matchup. So we'll see what they decide to do, but it's nice to have a Dragon Knight on your team. He adds a little extra sustain. He's already tanky enough as it is, and obviously he has extra pushing prowess with that Dragon ultimate.
Yeah, no, he is a natural BKB carrier. That makes me wonder, are we going to see some Puck Venge get into that Aghanim Scepter early on, see some of those big stuns come out? It's pretty ridiculous. As LD put it, you can just swap or force staff somebody out of the Dream Coil to break the tether, and at level 16, that's a 4.5 second stun. You've got a Beastmaster Roar at your hands. Except you can do it on a couple of heroes instead of just one. They could safe lane the Dragon Knight, or it could also be a support Ogre and some sort of a position 1 type Lina. We saw EG do that the other day with Fear doing his farming Lina and doing a little bit of carry action. So there's a ton of flexibility here. The only one we know will be in more of a support role is that Visage, and that'll be the final pick from Alliance. So probably a farming Naga, I guess an offlane Batrider, and maybe a safe lane Naga, mid Puck. There's
we could theory craft all day, but really it's on Alliance, and they could have come into this with their own particular new patch strategies that they thought about. I mean, clearly they have a nice little niche for the Puck Vengeful Spirit combo, and well, look at this X-Game grab up Spectre. Many consider Spectre to be one of the best carries right now in the patch. With the benefit of that haunt, you can really get into the mix at any time you want. Just kind of slam down that R button, and you can easily get some sweet bounty, especially if you're from behind.
Yeah, come on and slam, because it's time to jam. I've heard that he's got, she has an amazing win rate on this patch, and I don't know if that's completely true, or if that's folks just talking out their asses, but
I heard as well. Even in just pub play, it's like 60% or something.
Supposedly has a very strong win rate right now.
Well, we'll see if X came to do it, and really, on paper, Alliance, like you said before, should be able to take this one, but we've already seen quite a few upsets. Yesterday, Fnatic was struggling. Cleave took them out relatively easy in their first matchup, and they didn't really have the easiest time in their second go-around against Album Sheet. So, you never really know. X Game here, if they get a couple of wins, I don't know how many games exactly they have left. Not too many, I would imagine. They do have the most games played, it looks like, nearly out of everyone. But
who is this? Which team?
xGame.kz. You want to get out of that bottom spot. So,
they have 2 games. Let's see here. They played 13, so they've got 2 more, including this one. So after this game completes, they'll have 1 more match.
So pretty much a requirement they win all their games if they want to try to get out of that bottom spot. And, of course, those bottom teams are not going to have the easiest time coming back for the next season.
Oh, Loda wants us to call Merlini. Don't worry, man. I got his number in my cell phone.
That's a long-distance call, though.
That is, though. Actually, that's
if he wants to pay, I'll think about it.
That's true. Last time I was in Europe, I made a 3-minute call, and it was $30.
That's disgusting.
It was absolutely disgusting. I was flabbergasted, hurt, and disappointed.
Who were you calling in Europe?
I was in Europe calling America. Or Singapore. I think I called somebody. Called somebody's Singapore phone, and they were like, "Oh, does your phone work international?" And I made the stupid decision of saying, "Yeah, sure, absolutely," and sure it worked, but it was not of value. It was not worth the dinner. Anyway, introducing some rosters here. We've got Alliance on the Radiant side, and it will be Loda on the position 1 Naga Siren, doing a little bit of farming here. Bulldog will take helm on the Batrider. Looks like he'll be headed to the off lane. Chessie will be going solo mid on the Fairy Dragon. Mr. Puck and Misery will be roaming around on the Vengeful Spirit support, and it will be Ake on the Visage.
So no early aggressive roaming coming out from either team just yet. Introducing your Dire side, we got xGame.kz starting up here at the top. We got Mantis playing your Spectre. On the mid lane, we got Equal playing your Lina. Right behind, but a little too close for comfort, it's Reeves playing your Ogre McGee or Ogre Magi. Along the bottom, we got Mr. what is it? Stallcat.
First blood at the top rune. Reeves, he gets stunned up. The bounty rune comes out. He's taking a lot of damage, but Ogre, he's one tanky mother. Orb fly through. It's the first blood.
Oh, all that armor's not going to help you that much there, Mr. Ogre, if you get caught out that easily. Chessie picking up the first blood and interrupting my roster introductions. Bottom lane, Magnus. I'm persistent. I want to get these rosters complete.
Do you remember this player's name? It's
Stallcat?
Yeah, oh yeah.
In the hacker talk, I guess. I don't know.
He's going leet. He's still staying true to his leet speak. I like it.
And then mid lane, we got Wadafaka playing Dragon Knight.
Yeah, he's going to be off to to a rocky start here as Chessie getting all that bonus gold. He's basically starting off with boots, and that's good stuff for the Fairy Dragon.
Yeah. Considering you're going Null Tosma first for the extra damage, now you're going to get that bottle that much
Actually, I guess it
earlier.
means he's going to go fast bottle. I don't know what I was thinking there. But either way, that's a great hero to get all that bonus gold on. And I'm excited to see if we actually see the Aghanims build once more on this puck. Probably we'll go for a blink first, but down bottom. Whoa,
oh, they're trying to skewer him back. Cheeky tactic, but will it pay off? Oh, and snare auto attack. Yeah, that was a bit of a failure right there. And unfortunately, Magnus falls, Hani laughs, and we move on.
Yeah, definitely. So even better stuff for Alliance. Now, Visage will get the last hit on that one, but Loda now gets a little bit of free farm action, and Creeps will shove into the tower, so Stallcat will find some experience following that unfortunate demise. And oh, my Lanta.
Top lane, that got a bit awkward.
Whoa.
Admiral Bulldog trying to take a little bit of the side farm, firing up those tomatoes and potatoes, but Ogre was right there nearby, and he ended up falling down.
Lena didn't even cast a spell. What the? Wow, okay. I guess Bulldog just biting off more than he could chew there.
Well, he goes down, and he'll have to take the long trip. Oh, he's not going to go back. He's just going to forfeit his off lane, head over to the jungle, and
he's found his level 2, and that's really the milestone for the Bat Rider. He has a stack already thanks to his support, so he'll get it up to a triple stack, and this will be okay for Bulldog. He should be able to find an okay recovery. Luckily for him, there's no stinky mud golems, and that'll make his life even easier.
They scout out the top rune. It's quickly bottled up right there, and it's going to be a regen for that Dragon Knight. Along the bottom, we get your bounty rune. No one grabbing it just yet, but it looks like both. Oh no, it's going to be Chessie here to go and get it up for himself. So a rune for each team here as they shuffle on through. But we have a smoke coming out here from xGame.kz. They're waiting for Chessie to come on back, and hopefully they can go for a gank with this double disable duo.
Yeah, this is a pretty scary roaming duo, but they've popped 2 smokes for this. They had one earlier, it expired to get the rune, and now they'll use another. They want the puck. Chessie will use his orb aggressively, and that's never a good sign, but the silence. Waiting Rick will buy him some time. Out comes the initial stun. Light Strike Array is there, and we're going to have a dead Fairy Dragon.
That's 3 stuns, and you know, the team timing them out appropriately should be able to take down the Fairy Dragon. Promptly so. No problems there. So after Chessie with a boosting start of that first blood, will go down and allow Wadafaka a bit of time to farm up in this mid lane.
Yeah, Chessie still with a great CS score, though, actually topping the charts, 15-2. And Wadafaka will be catching up a bit. He's got his boots, his magic wand at home, and once he gets turned with the courier, he'll have those delivered. Chessie's working on the bottle. Boots still has that bounty rune there, so hanging on to it for now. Bottom lane, Stallcat. It's Strug City down here for the Horned Master. He's level 4, finding some decent experience, but in terms of farm, actually, wow, he's got 13 last hits. Whoa.
Yeah, no, not too bad
I thought he was
all.
0-3. I was looking at the Ogre portrait for a second. Wow, I take that back. He's doing great in this off.
Well, Shockwave makes that a lot easier for your Magnus. Yeah. It's not every day we see him play in the off lane, but it's relatively low mana cost, and he has a bottle on hand as an off laner, so he can just quickly get that mana back and just spam out those Shockwaves and maybe get 1, possibly 2 creeps each time. So that will help out quite significantly. Also, you know, it's Bulldog here in the top lane. He's kind of juking and jiving, a bit of harassment coming his way, but he is also inheriting a bottle for himself as an offlaner, so I think that's a bit of a testament to these dual runes in this new patch.
Yeah, definitely. We're seeing bottles all over the place, and we'll see 2 little fights break out here as Wadafaka goes in onto Chessie. He has a haste rune deployed, or back to safety, but Wadafaka, he's going to live up to his name and go for it. He'll connect with a Dragon Tail. In comes Stallcat. Now Chessie's there with his silence. Wadafaka, he'll die to the tower. He bites off more than he can chew. Misery coming in. He's going for Stallcat. Now the orb forward from the puck. Will he jaunt to it for the kill? No, he won't. Misery, though, he'll get left behind. He gets caught by the Light Strike Array, and down she goes. That'll make it a 1-for-1.
1-for-1 indeed, but the Dragon Knight for an exchange makes it a worthy trade for Alliance indeed, and it leaves an open bottom lane for Loda to just continue to beat on these creeps. And being a Naga, that is a bit scary. Loda's a guy who knows how to farm up quite significantly. There he goes. He's going to get the Bassi complete, so he is going to go with the Aquila build. We could see that segue into the drums, and then from there on out, go with your typical cookie cutter Radiance, I'd imagine.
Yeah, definitely. Keeping about on point with the Spectre, both of them farming very well. Mantis getting interrupted a little bit more by Bulldog than Loda is by the Magnus, but all things considered, great stuff for the safe laners, and I'll be curious to see what build Loda ends up going for, if it is going to be the Aquila into drums to slow down the Radiance, or if he just tries to rush it out. Top lane, Dream Coil comes out onto Mantis, but he'll just haunt across the map. And he will head to the bottom, but maybe this won't work out so well. He'll take a Soul Assumption, load it, takes a Light Strike Array, the Horn will come in, and it'll be a 2-0. Okay, that Haunt working wonders for XGame, though.
Yeah,
Close call.
that was very convenient. They're actually pressing forward. They're looking to go on Misery. He's forced to pull out the Magic Missile, but there's McGee right there. Throws out the stun, the bit of club right there, and he gets the kill. Very nice. But just before that, it was convenient. The Lina and Ogre were already smoked up going for a gank on that bottom lane. So as they added pressure on the top, it was just perfect for Spectre to pull out the Haunt and then just go to that bottom lane where the gank was already happening. And they followed up with a nice couple of kills. So props to XGame right there. They push ahead 6-3.
Yeah, smart setup. They'll take the minor gold lead and also find an experience edge. Chessie will grab the 6-minute bounty rune, and it's a double damage in the bottom. Magnus will pick up to fill up the old bottle there and head right back to lanes. Following that team fight, now Magnus pretty close to level 6. So reverse polarity will make things a bit easier for the Dire side. McGee almost level 5. So they are coming online here. They haven't really started death balling with their Dragon Knight yet, but they will be able to take towers down pretty easily with that Elder Dragon form and its Plague Corrosive Breath.
So normally when I see a team, try to go for an Ogre Magi here in this latest patch, it's cute and fun. He's got some buffs. You always fear for him, though, in the late game because you don't really know how much he will actually be able to contribute. Yeah, he does have a Bloodlust that he can aid out with his allies, especially someone like the Spectre would definitely be much of assistance here. But as far as stun and his flame, typically your opponents, if they just grab up a BKB, he's pretty much rendered useless. But looking at Alliance's team, not a big BKB team, if I say so myself. It's not like you see your Nagas go for much of BKB, and the Flames might actually help out with removing those illusions. They're actually going on the mid lane right now. Chessie, can they lock up enough stuns here? Orb to fly away, but they already know he's going to jump for this one Ogre. He's going to have another Fire Blast here in 4 more seconds. He's looking to catch up the bottle, but no! They cannot pursue as rotations are to come. In fact, they cancel out the rotations, just using it as an intimidation factor to say, get the hell back.
It'll be enough to keep the puck alive, so good news for Alliance. Lotus still just sitting on his Basilius and Brown Boots, using that Quelling Blade to much avail, farming away in the jungle. How's Spectre looking? It looks like he'll just try to go for a fast Radiance Rush. Phase Boots and those standard opening items, 1,500 gold. And this is where Mantis, I think he'll try his luck. And if he stays kind of uncontested and can get that fast relic, he'll certainly go for it. And if a lot of pressure comes his way, it looks like he's about to die, he'll probably keep those drums on quick buy and be prepared to spend some of that unreliable gold. We'll see them go into Bulldog in the top lane. Bulldog with Firefly on, does have a lasso, but will take a Fire Blast to the face. And that's going to be a pretty easy kill. Mantis racks another one up and gets one step closer to that relic.
Man, Ogre Magi, maybe a bit overweight, but they are making him run around quite a lot. And he's really getting some trackage right now, getting all over the place and getting these ganks in. So definitely XGame in the early game, putting in a lot of effort on getting these early rotations in, and it's actually paying off very nicely for him. But Alliance, they're okay with that. Their more focus is pushing it towards that late game and getting loaded to a point where there's no return for XGame, and they'll be able to add a lot of pressure to the base. And well, it's not every game that we get the opportunity to see a Naga going toe-to-toe with a Spectre, so I'm really curious. It's a battle of the Radiances, a battle of the extra damage right here, and Spectre's, like you said, going right forward for it. 2.2k for him. Their Magnus also building up a fair amount of gold. He's getting a lot closer to that Blink Dagger.
Yeah, I'm still surprised at how good a time Stalkhead has had in this offlane. You compare him to Bulldog, and it's
mid.
apples and oranges. Wadafaka, he procs the tether, but now will take a Magic Missile. Orb will hit him, but Magnus is here. RP on 3. Now the Haunt in from the Spectre. Breathe Fire for some follow-up damage. Wadafaka will heal himself up, head back for it, and that'll be a dead Vengeful Spirit. Now they'll turn back in onto Wadafaka. The Soul Assumption's enough to bring him down. Bulldog's there with the lasso, and XGame will overcommit just a little bit. Spectre was just headed for the hills after the initial Haunt.
Yeah, that was a bit of a misplay there, XGame. They did come out getting the 1 kill. I mean, Spectre thankfully makes it away with just the kill for herself, but had Magnus been able to show up with a little bit of extra mana, it could have gone completely differently. He only had enough for the 1 RP. Imagine if he had enough for the Skewer to follow, pushing him back into a tower, add a Nova on top of that, and things could have been really, really nice for XGame, but I guess a lack of communication as they didn't have all the ammunition they could have, and ended up blowing up in their face a bit.
Yeah, same deal with the Lina. If Equal could have been there, that was huge potential for a Light Strike Array and Dragon Slave on 3. That would have been disastrous for Alliance. So, big opportunities for XGame. They don't quite make the most of it, but still not too shabby. A 1 for 2, and it'll level things out. But as you mentioned, that Spectre got a kill, and now he's only 1,000 gold away from that Sacred Relic. Hastening in the bottom lane. It will be a battle for it, and Chessie, well, he just grabs it, and now this puck will have some max movement speed. Chessie has picked up the power treads, and only about 300 gold away from that Blink Dagger.
And it looks like Loda not going to finish the Aquila or move on to drums. She is also going to be saving up quite a bit of gold at 1,800 right now. So seeing if he can acquire an early Sacred Relic and looking to work extra from there right now, farming up the jungle for himself. And, well, they're going to look to probably add a little pressure here on the bottom lane. Stallcat that much closer. I mean, he was put off a bit from that mid lane interaction, but, you know, wants to be able to get that Blink Dagger. I think that's first and foremost. And we do see Ogre Magi picking up another smoke. This team has been blazing it a lot this game, but it's been definitely paying off for him. So maybe they can add some pressure here in the bottom lane and look to go for another, maybe on Misery.
Yeah, and speaking of smokes, Misery has one of his own, so both teams looking for opportunities to be aggressive. Stallcat really doesn't want to die here. He's already been set back from his Blink Dagger from that last skirmish. He's only 200 away, and I think he will be eager to just keep kicking these creeps down, giving them the sword. I don't know, what kind of a weapon is that? He got some sort of a pole arm there.
A skewer? No, a skewer's name is his building. Maybe like a lance?
Yeah, like...
Uh-oh. They might have to be careful, though. Chessie's got a haste rune. He's already approached this bottom lane. You got Aka nearby, who is, level 6 now, has the benefit of those familiars and the extra bit of lockdown right there. And this is a guy who definitely knows how to micro. One of the best in the game, if I do say so myself. And, well, they're looking to scout it out from the sidelines, but xGame not overcommitting to anything just yet, knowing that there's a lot missing on the map and just going to play a little extra cautiously here.
Yeah, Bat Rider will now find his Blink Dagger, and he'll rotate from the top rune on his way down, but there's your Magnus Blink. So both teams finding this great mid-game timing of Blink Daggers aplenty. 2 on the Dire, 1 on the Radiant.
Uh-oh.
All the way around. What a fucker. He's going to get high ground here. He'll get lassoed by the Bulldog. He'll throw out a stun. Goes to the Elder Dragon for him, and we'll just try to go blow for blow. But Dragon Knight, my friend, you have no TP, and this will be a rough one to try and survive.
Boy, what are you gonna do here, buddy? Hand familiars, ha ha ha, fool! We can fly now, and we take you down. So, fortunate for Dragon Knight, gets caught out by the rune spot, and very convenient there for Bulldog to kidnap him and throw him right up on the high ground. And
RP on 1 as Stallcat hops forward, blows his load a little bit early, and now the rest of the cavalry's there, and they'll just bring him down. Magnus. Gotta be a little more patient than that. Another swap, and they want equal. Familiars coming in, looking for the stuns. Chessie blinks to the high ground, and there's your Dream Coil. Equal won't be able to survive this, and it'll be a 3-0 here in the mid lane in favor of Alliance.
And this is gonna be a little troublesome here for xGame. They had quite a significant lead in the early going with those rotations, but now look at that. We're evened up 8-8. Pressure's on this mid tier 1 tower already, and it's going to be on Dragon Knight to step in and just try to slow their roll. And, you know, Dragon Knight, typically one of those heroes that likes to plant himself in the mid lane, hold strong, look for an opportunity to push on forward, pop that ultimate, and maybe take a tier 1 relatively early here, but he really has not had the opportunity. The Alliance tier 1 tower, not damaged whatsoever. Wadafaka has been very involved in some of these fights and, you know, getting caught out, so not the best thing here.
Yeah. And it was looking very good for xGame in terms of this Radiance timing on Mantis, but now all of a sudden Alliance grabbing a lot of momentum once they find their Blink Daggers. Loda still about 1,000 gold behind the Spectre in terms of Radiance pooling. He's up to about 3,000 gold, but I think the Naga will be okay in terms of being able to recover, and always has that reset tool so that you can utilize very effectively against Spectre. We'll see a Blink Lasso coming out of the Bulldog right onto Equal. Misery's there with a Magic Missile follow-up, and that's another kill on the Lina.
1-2 punch doesn't get much easier than that when you catch out a support on the side right there, so they just kind of take the opportunity to grab it. Here comes Ogre, though. Him and Spectre together. Oh, they try to get a hold of the Bulldog, but now he's going to look to put himself in the corner. The Haunt's going to spout him out right now, but Chessie and Misery and company, they move in. They see a very nice and easy kill there on the Spectre, unfortunately. Oh, no, Ogre trying to get away from this one. Rotations to come right now. It's going to be Lina looking to move on in here, but can she save her Ogre pal? And there's the jump in Light Strike Array, and also RP going to fly out. Chessie will end up going down. DD Rune here, picked up from Stallcat, looking to push on forward, and now it's Bulldog who's on the retreat, not on the hunt here. Flies up to the high ground and up and over the woods here to get to Grandma's house we go, I guess, as he gets away from that one.
Yeah, Bulldog will make it out, but it's a 1-for-3 trade. Not what Alliance wanted by any stretch of the imagination. They will get the kill on Spectre, so possibly your most valuable hero to shut down and creating some space for Loda. I guess you have to factor that into the equation, but xGame will kind of level things out a bit more following that fight, and now this top tower will take some decent damage. The corrosive breath from Wadafaka's Elder Dragon form will help bring it down. Glyph comes out. He's got a siege creep, but Alliance will mount a defense as Misery is on his way up.
And I'm really liking, as you look over some of these drafts and Alliance's game plan, they have a fantastic amount of lockdown to work in their favor, especially as the game does progress. You know, you got your ensnare from your Naga, which will even go through a BKB. You got your swap that also works through it. If the puck does go for the Agnums, you know, at some point, that goes through BKB. And, of course, that lasso. So Dragon Knight, you know, bit of a questionable pickup possibly in this one. I mean, you know, you would want to grab him to have the extra bit of armor, extra bit of tankiness, and, of course, pushing towers. And, well, I haven't seen a whole lot of any of that thus far, so.
Yeah, he is sort of sticking out like a sore thumb here. 3-3-2. He's had a decent presence in the lane, but it makes you wonder what's the general game plan for him. Looks like he will go into a Shadow Blade, and, well, speak of the devil, he'll get Dream Coil, Lasso, Tether snapped, and, geez, they'll just drop the hammer here.
Pretty much everything you could throw at him, they did, just to make sure they take him down, and pretty much jinxing him at that point, saying he's having a bit of a rough time, and, well, that doesn't help whatsoever. And, well, we'll see what happens as we look to progress here. Bottom lane, Stallcat has a small opportunity to farm up for himself. He already does have the Blink Dagger here. I'm trying to imagine what his next item goal could be. I guess as far as luxury or core, yeah, you know, a refresher would be pretty nice, I guess, as well, if they get the double RP off, but you know, we'll have to see where he decides to go with it from here. You know, something better than Brown Boots would probably be nice.
Laguna Blade in the mid lane. Misery taking a lot of damage, but he'll know his limits. He turns around. Vengeful Spirit gets the kill. Spectre will use the Haunt and doesn't even have to hop to it. The Haunt alone is enough to secure the 1-for-1 trade, and that will help out Mantis quite a bit, just farming from across the map, and now pretty darn close to that Radiance recipe. But Loda is closing the gap. He has his Relic now and looking towards the recipe as well. And it looks like, all things considered, they will be pretty comparable times after that big burn.
It's a Radiance race, if I've ever seen one myself, and Spectre is just a little further ahead here, about to grab a hold of that recipe. But, you know, it's a question of which hero can utilize that Radiance much better, and I can't help but feel like Naga's the one to do it. I mean, being able to separate your illusions on command into those lanes, into those farm spots, and just enhance your income that much further. Though it is nice for Spectre to be able to engage at any opportune moment just by hitting that R button. She can do some easy side pushes herself and be in the heart of the fight at the same time. But yeah, I'd still have to give the slight nod to Naga on paper.
Yeah, and I think you have to consider as well that Alliance are basically playing a 4v5 right now. Loda is 0-1-3. He's not been involved in any fights except the ones that were in his lane, the skirmishes and the rotations that came down bottom. Spectre, on the other hand, we've seen him moving around a lot. He's been fighting. He's 4-1-5 and been a lot more active around the map. So once Naga gets the Radiance and can actually start to participate in these team fights, get that baseline of farm, that's when I think Alliance will really kick it into high gear. And all of a sudden, this 5v5 will kick in, and our X game really equipped to deal with that. Only time will tell, Cattle Guy.
So Spectre does indeed win that Radiance race and picks it up, but you know Naga's having a pretty good game if you've never even had to use Song of the Siren thus far. So Loda's golden pipes are yet to be even warmed up.
And yeah, we're only about 200 gold away from the recipe now. This is a huge catch-up from the Naga Siren. Both sides will start taking some damage on their Tier 1 towers. Glyph comes out from the Dire as the Familiars lay into it with the siege creeps here. I think they will be able to find a tower kill, though it may get denied as What a Fuck It comes in. Lena gets the deny. What a Fuck It brings down one of the Familiars, but they'll use it as bait as the Bulldog blinks over the tree line, and that'll be the end of the Dragon Knight. Now Stallcat coming in, looking for the biggest RP of his life. He'll find it on 2. Big damage out onto Misery and Bulldog as Lena's there to follow up, but the Dream Coil on 4. Ake stands his ground, will get taken down. Chessie counting his blessings here, looking for the opening. Could finish off Stallcat, but will play it safe and stays on the high ground. So another one of these 1-for-3 trades, as yet again, it's a 4v5 with Loda still just farming by his lonesome.
And looking over the in-game Valve fight recap, 3-for-1 trade. I got it on my screen though. You know, a 1925 gold advancement for X Games. Unfortunately for the Alliance, losing out 382. So a nice swing as far as gold and even XP in that one.
Yep. All right, well, good stuff for the Dire, and again, that's helping to level it up, but Alliance still holding on to a nice little lead for themselves. They have taken out 2 towers in exchange for none, even though that mid tower was denied. That's a big access point. That Tier 1 in the mid is one you want to get taken out just in general, even if it's denied. And that just limits where they can teleport, how they can move around the map. Mantis, though, 1,800 gold just about up, and where will he go from here? Maybe into some drums, maybe just moving towards the Heart of Tarrasque, and turn into that tanky Spectre. He's still in the triple digits of HP, though, so I think that's a big priority for him.
The world is his oyster as far as items go because his farm's coming in rather quickly. But checking over on Reeves here on the Ogre Mage, he is going for an Agnum Scepter, it looks like. Point booster in hand. You know, of course, the Agnums on Ogre allows him to get that secondary Fire Blast, which costs 0 mana. So that's a lot of lockdown on one particular target. If
it's percentage mana. It's percentage.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
right.
Percentage of your mana pool, but it can be next to 0 mana if your pool is empty. It's one of those. It's an interesting mechanic with the refined versus unrefined, because if you're full mana pool, then it takes like 60% of your current mana or whatever it is. But if you're dry, then you can still throw out Fire Blast left and right.
Just the initial impression that you always have it available to use, I guess. Is what I was thinking of.
Yeah, exactly.
You're right. You're absolutely right on that one.
Yeah, you're right. You can never be out of mana enough to not be able to use it. So it's fun stuff. Fun stuff. It's an item you don't see that often because, as you pointed out a few times, Ogre in the position 4. When does he really have the farm to get this big item up? But
well, the thing is that mostly other items are better suited. And actually, no, he's not. He's got the Vitality boost here. He might be going for a Bloodstone.
Bloodstone.
Okay, well, that's a little bit better. You can definitely add a lot to your team if you do have to drop the Suicide. You can have the benefit of that heal.
Yeah,
the extra sustain works very nice. So I do like it. It's nice, but where's the mech at for their team? It would be beneficial if they did have the extra sustain overall and support. It doesn't look like anyone's going to really be picking up a mech, and I thought Ogre would be one of the people to do it.
Yeah, and even if he was going Bloodstone, I would have expected to see a pretty early Soul Ring. I mean, that's a nice utility item to just in case he runs dry, let you get those extra spells off.
It does have Arcane Boots, so I guess that can help instead.
But it's not required for the Bloodstone, so it's just one of those makes the build-up for Bloodstone a little bit easier, not really reaping the benefits of that new change.
Yeah.
We'll see how it works out for McGee. Looking at other items on the Radiant side, Chessie has gone Blink now into Ultimate Orb, so no fast Aghanims on him to utilize the Venge, as we were sort of theory crafting instead, looking to just go right into a Scythe of Vice. And Ake, he's moving in towards an Aghanim Scepter himself, and he's closing in. He's about 500 gold away, and just needs that last piece, the Blade of Alacrity. Loda looking towards his BOTs.
That's big. I like the, obviously Ake knows how to find his farm on his Visage, so he'll be able to get a hold of that extra bird relatively soon. Touching base on the Dragonite, he's got the Ogre Club. He is going to go for a BKB, but I don't know how much help exactly it's going to be in this particular game. And like I said before, you got your swap, you got your lasso, you got a lot that can already go through a BKB as is. So, we'll see how Dragonite can really manage to benefit from that BKB. And also remember, in this recent patch, you only get one BKB. Can't really buy a new one.
That's true. Truer statement has never been said. We'll see Alliance start to group up towards the mid lane and maybe thinking about pushing, trying to bait with the familiars again. Bulldog has a Blink, Lasso, Force Staff at the ready, and now Loda does find his BOT, so he can afford to split push and farm side lanes while the rest of his team looks to find engagements. Now they'll just group up towards the top, and it seems Alliance are just eager to fight and take some towers if possible. They get pinged down the jungle here. xGame do have Wadafuck in the front lines using that invisibility as they go in onto Misery. They open with the stuns. A lot of damage coming out on him. Laguna to the face.
Wow.
They'll bring down the Vengeful Spirit.
That was ruthless. That's as ruthless as the Twitch chat is when you make a mistake about the mana. I tell you what. Yeah, that's right. I got you on that
Hashtag wrecked. Yep. Well, a lot of resources there just for the Vengeful Spirit. We'll look at the recap this time, and oh boy, look at that. Pick off on the Venge. Kill's a kill, that's for sure. They do defend the top tier 2 tower, so that's something. But I think xGame were hoping for a little more than that. Elder Dragon form was used, and now they'll just head towards the mid and look to chip at this tower. Glyph is available. Meanwhile, on the top lane, Reeves will get caught in the lasso. Familiars are there for the follow-up stuns. Ake with the Soul Assumption doesn't even need it. They'll just click him down. They find a kill, and kind of making it a 1-for-1 is now the tier 1 tower in the mid falls. And Stallcat pump faking the reverse polarity, but won't be able to find it.
For a team with the benefit of that push, it took him quite a while to get that tier 1 in the mid lane. Now making it go on his flying brother right there. It is Bulldog to make it to the high ground and be able to TP away from that one. So not really expecting, Dragonite to be able to catch him out right there, but just trying to take advantage of what time he has left on that Elder Dragon form to get something done. But no, Alliance with a fantastic pick off there in the top lane, well aware where the positioning was of xGame.kz, and know they can get a little bloodthirsty in being able to commit. And there's your Ake Agnum Scepter right now. 3 birds are better than 2 last time I checked.
Yeah, definitely adding that extra stun gives you better punch to pack, I suppose. It looks like Spectre, where's he moving in terms of item progression? That's a Yasha coming out, so we'll go into just a casual Vitality booster for now, just to tank up, beef up a bit if you will. And now the Yasha probably looking towards a Manta, I would imagine. So massing more illusions, and this is a fun build. You kind of have the chaos factor going for you a little bit. There's just so many damn specters in the team fights, trying to discern which is the real one, which one has he jumped to, who's the Manta illusion, who isn't. It just adds another layer of who's who in the team fights, and lets that specter kind of hide under the veil of chaos.
You know, and it's going to be nice, and I'm really curious to see how she's going to match up against this Naga Siren, but I still can't help that Loda's really just having everything he could want this game.
Yeah,
I'm sure relative from his angle, it might be pretty boring of a game, just considering he's farming up the whole time, sweating it out, but you know what? The important thing is that when they want to go for the W later in the game, this is going to be very, very helpful to him, that how much farm this Naga's got.
Bulldog walks right into What a Fuck. He gets Dragon Tail to start things off, but a Haunt flies through. Which one will Spectre jump to? And it will be none of them. He'll just run on in as What a Fuck, taking a lot of damage off to the backside. Ogre will find a kill onto the Visage. Now the lasso's out on What a Fuck. Bulldog pulling him into no man's land. The familiars will help chase him down. And it looks like Bulldog will be able to make the escape. No way to interrupt it. It will end as a 1-for-2. They lost their puck off to the backside. And he was finished off by Lena. So once more, xGame find a favorable exchange. And it still feels like basically a 4v5. Loda is just in his own world, still 0-1-3, and his farm is still top of the net worth chart, and Alliance are still looking okay moving towards the late game.
I mean, that's the important thing. Alliance know that they're going to be 4 versus 5 in a lot of these fights, so if they come out on top, that's just that much better. If they break out even, that's fine. And if they're even behind, it's, you know, it is what it is. The important thing is it's going to be the final curtain. It's going to be the back end of this show, if you will, that, you know, the Naga's really going to be able to shine, continuously mobile throughout the map as he heads up to this top lane to soak in this bit of a creep wave right here. Just more and more and more farm. Yasha in his hands already, 2.3k, coming in very nicely for him. Touching the other late game partner here, Spectre, looking to go. He's got the early vitality booster. I would imagine this is an early investment towards that heart.
Yeah, and it's also just a good value item. When you're going for this Spectre build that's pretty squishy, you just need some kind of HP. Loda in the top lane will get skewered.
Did you get the song? Oh, wow!
The burst. That's the power of the Lena. And they'll clean up the creep wave. That is a valuable kill right there. They needed to slow down this Loda, and they'll do just that.
That's a very nice pickoff. I mean, it's not often that we get to see you know, the Naga Siren confronted in that way, but xGame and their supreme amount of lockdown in their favor, you know, just showing it right there, not even the opportunity to get the song off and get away. So xGame with a very valuable grab right there. 19-15 your new score, just touching base on the gold graph. It's nothing too significant for either team. Alliance ahead just by a little, the 2k favor, but also no attention on the Roche pit thus far. But you know, in exchange that, you know, either team doesn't really have a whole lot of Roche potential. You're not seeing your serious amount of minus armor, except for maybe the Visage, but it's a little risky to go for that kind of a jump. The Roche pit in its new spot, and being as small as it is, it can be very easily that you could be spotted going.
It's kind of both sides are sort of de-incentivized, as they don't have a great Roche lineup. They've got Wave of Terror on the side of Alliance, but xGame have Reverse Polarity, which really shines in this new, smaller and tighter Roche pit. And Alliance have Song of the Siren, where they can break up a fight, go for an Aegis snipe, stuff like that. So both sides, it just feels a little bit riskier than they want to go with. What a Fucker will get swapped to get things started into the top lane, but Stallcat's there with a skewer back, finds kills on Misery and Chessie right out of the gate. Bulldog's there with a lasso onto What a Fucker, but he's got no Firefly, and that will limit the damage coming out. Ake and Loda trying to lay into him, but it will cost Ake his life. Loda manages to get off the song, but it's already a 1-for-3. As Bulldog and Loda mount the retreat. Stallcat blinking forward, looking for a follow-up kill. They will be able to, at the very least, find this tower. And xGame getting another great exchange.
That was really nice, especially considering that Stallcat didn't have the RP in that fight. That worked fantastically for him, and, well, clearly Dragonite not happy with how much lockdown and focus he is. You know, starting off with the swap back into Ensnare, he manages to wiggle himself out, only to get lassoed up once again and pulled back. But with Alliance putting so much attention on that Dragonite, it allows the whole support of xGames to move on in, being able to burst and lock down the rest of the Alliance squad. It clearly works out in their favor.
Now the Manta style will be coming out for Spectre. Finds the farm for it, so good stuff there. We'll be able to disjoint a couple of these spells, the Magic Missile in particular, get off that silence from the puck, so just a good game for the Manta all around. Smoke rotation from xGame. They'll hit the pipe and thinking about perhaps a Roche, but no, they'll move into the Radiant jungle. Given that they still have Stallcat's RP, there's no reason they can't find a fight, and they'll look around for it. Naga being irritating with the illusions, has her Manta complete also, so just shoving around the lanes and maintaining some map control as almost initiation onto equal. But now we'll see Alliance find the high ground, and we could have a fight breaking out as Equal almost gets lassoed. It will be Bulldog that backs out. Now he comes back in, finds the lasso onto Lina, playing with fire, but there's a big RP from Stallcat. Will skewer just Ake back. It doesn't keep the Lina alive. The swap from Misery will put Stallcat in kind of an awkward position. The rest of his team will just head for the hills. He'll try to TP home, and it won't happen. It'll be a 2-0 in favor of Alliance, and they regain some of that lost footing.
You know, it was an RP. It caught 3. I mean, don't get me wrong, but really there was no follow-up to it. You don't have your Haunt available from your Spectre. The rest of the company were not quite close enough to be able to get in there and get their licks in, and unfortunately, it was just a no effort, unfortunately. So a bit of a misplay right there coming up from xGame. After a pretty significant fight in that top lane, this allows Alliance to come right back into this one, and now they're going to look to add some pressure here on the mid lane. You got your Loda here with that DD. This could be very promising for
Yeah, they're going to go in on What a Fuck It. Looks like no lasso on the Bat Rider. He has picked up his BKB, still stuck on cooldown, but they don't even need the lasso. They've got the Hex from Chessie. What a Fuck It will just get dropped down. Now Reeves needs to be a little careful. He'll come in. Song the Siren from Loda as Mantis is right in the front lines, and they will just mount the retreat. Loda is completely out of mana, and the Familiars just kind of scouting around. They won't get picked off. Alina looking to chase down the puck, but Chessie will blink back to safety. But yeah, with those big RPs, I feel like you need the Lina there. Just the combo damage from the Dragon Slave and the Light Strike Array is ridiculous as Chessie and Equal go blow for blow, connects with a Light Strike right as the silence comes out, and that will ensure his survival.
So they're going to step back for now. They look to ward up this bottom area, knowing that Roche could be a potential option for either team in the near future. They want to make sure they have prime vision on that pit in case there is an engagement. One of the benefits to xGame is if they do catch out Alliance inside the Roche, they have the RP to be able to drop it right on top, followed up with the Haunt, and of course all that sweet AoE coming up from the rest of their team. They could have a very, very big team fight. Probably part of the reason we haven't really seen a Roche engagement thus yet. Both teams really waiting out for a prime opportunity to get some good pickoffs in, and then would be able to segue from there. And there is your Ogre Magi Bloodstone now complete. But I don't know. It's a touch later than you probably would have liked. I don't know how much it's going to add to these fights. It gives them a little extra sustain and durability in them, but, you know, only a Fire Blast, hopeful for multicast, is going to get you so far.
Yeah, I kind of agree with your initial assessment of something like a mech is a lot cheaper and goes a much longer way, and then you can start working towards that Aghanim Scepter. It gives you some tankiness, but then all that utility of the unrefined Fire Blast. And instead, yeah, Ogre's tanky, but end of the day, are they really focusing the Ogre all that much? Does this extra HP make that big of a difference? It seems like when they're killing the Ogre, it's when he's caught a little bit far forward, his buddies have already died, and an extra 500 HP wouldn't have made the difference between him dying through the lockdown or surviving. We'll see how it works out in the fights, but definitely an interesting item trajectory from the Ogre. Now Lina, whoa, Vanguard will probably turn into a Crimson Guard here, and pretty good. Some decent right clicks against the illusions from the Naga, the Familiars. Will help absorb a fair bit of physical damage in these next team fights.
That's the benefit of that new item. Had this been last patch, we've been like, what the hell is Lina doing with a Vanguard? But now we know.
Stop hitting the pipe. This is getting crazy.
Yeah, but now with that Crimson Card benefit, it could actually be a bit beneficial to the whole team. You drop down that extra active to your whole team, and these Naga illusions aren't going to do quite as much damage as they optimally would like. But here we go, Alliance coming knocking at the top door with those Naga illusions in that Radiance, doing some pretty nice damage.
Down to half health. This is a good push. This is before even xGame are in position to defend. I think Alliance will be happy with that. They'll just back up, see if xGame want to jump out of the base, but no need to press their luck here, as they can just go back to farming. The Naga has about 4,000 gold, 4,500, so Loda looking towards probably a heart coming up next, but he's really coming online, and you see that that gap between him and Spectre now up to 3,000, much more than it was just 5-10 minutes ago.
And I feel like that lead is just going to get bigger and bigger, especially if Alliance are not going to get caught out in any sort of fight relatively soon. So this is a little extra pressure on xGame. They're going to have to pull their stuff together here. I don't know if they want to wait to the point where they're just on their high ground trying to defend it out. They need to find an opportunity to smoke up, maybe move on in, get that good RP started, and follow it up with that Ogre and Lina combo that they've fallen back on time and time again. I'd like to see more of that coming their way, but Alliance continuing to just stretch this game out because they know it's to their benefit the longer it goes.
Yep, absolutely. BKB is now out on Wadafuck. A 10-second charge ready to rock and roll. Has a Hyperstone now. Probably an Assault Kuros coming out next. As Stallcat has a BKB of his own. Also, that
Spectre.
10-second charge. He'll try to haunt out, but the silence is there. They've got the lasso to lock him down. Even the Dream Coil deployed, and that'll be the end of the Spectre. He finds a counter kill on the Vengeful Spirit, but obviously a much better trade for Team Alliance.
Of course, of course. I mean, given that they were able to maybe find an opportunity to engage right there, she did have the buyback, but they are going to reserve it. They pull back and just kind of accept their losses for now. And, man, you hate this. Lean over here on the side shop, you know, trying to deal with this illusion. And as time goes on, you know, she's going to be more thankful she got that Vanguard, you know. Being a support player myself, it's the worst feeling ever when you're going against such a farm Naga, and these illusions alone are ripping you apart, taking you down to near nothing. So
I like this from Alliance, though. They'll try to move in and force the buyback from the Spectre. There's a Glyph available. He does have a buyback, but this is that time where a buyback would really cripple the Spectre's timing towards the heart. He has 2,700 gold, really wants to continue pulling for that Radiance, but all these illusions and the Radiance burn can do a decent amount of harassment, and again, they get this tower down very low and commit next to nothing. So they don't force the buyback as they would have hoped, but instead more damage on the Tier 3 tower, slowly whittling their way to a lane of barracks, and that will be a Heart of Tarask secured on the Naga Siren, now up to 2,700 hit points.
yeah, that's a big amount of life there for Loda. Yeah, so you're going to go ahead and just step back, continue. Now Loda taking away the precious farm from xGame, and this is another problem here. xGame are not going to have a whole lot of places to find farm for themselves, and they need to focus that farm on their primary carry, being Mantis on that Spectre. So this is going to leave the supports on the side of xGame pretty poor for quite a while, unless they can manage to get a hold of that new patched bounty and they get a big team fight going their way. But really, they've been on the defense for pretty much the past 10 minutes, I want to say. They really haven't been assertive, and I think Alliance are onto that. They know they can take this opportunity to move on to the Roche pit. They have the benefit of that medallion and the Wave of Terror. They should be able to take down the Roche relatively quickly, and they are getting it done without Loda even being there. So we'll see. Yep, he is going to rotate that way, and should be able to pick up the Aegis for himself if needed. He can
Dyer
just drop
have
that
no
bottle.
vision except Equal. He's trying to look over the cliff here, but it's nighttime. His vision very limited. He gets scattered out by the wards. Bulldog will grab him inside of the lasso. Chessie's there with the follow-up silence, burst damage, and Equal won't even be able to get off a spell. Flame Break to finish him off in style. Makes it a 5v4 on the field, and now Alliance should be able to secure basically uncontested Roshan here.
Poor
Look at
Lena.
this spread. They do not want to get RP'd. Well, as I say that, they all come up in the pit, but doing a good job staying spread about so that there isn't a super easy RP for the Magnus to hit. But Stallcat, he's trotting his way down. He's inbound, but not soon enough. As the Aegis comes and hits the deck, it will be Loda that picks it up.
Yep, and they still had pretty good, you know, positioning right there. The Vengeful Spirit was waiting around the outside of the pit. That way something was coming their way. He had the swap available to either, you know, save an ally in need or just kind of disjoint out xGame's initial plan. And now they're going to look here potentially for Dragon Knight Bulldog in flight mode already, but he doesn't really have any backup just yet. So, he is going to jump in, just kind of harass, not going to commit for the lasso just yet, and will pull back.
Oh, no, he does have the gem. Okay, never mind. He's the one carrying Misery's gem now, and yeah, just won't go for the lasso. Okay.
Instead now, Spectre looking to farm out on their own jungle, getting what they can, wants to get that heart complete so that way he can stand more toe-to-toe in these fights. But as time goes on, Naga, who had already gotten her heart, gets that much more farm and already loaded nearly 3k farm for himself. This Naga is at a point where she could just continue to farm up and out of control. What was once a 3k gold lead is now turning into a 5k gold lead over the Spectre, so just goes to show how much quicker and faster this Naga is going to be able to farm over the Spectre.
Yeah, definitely. Bulldog almost gets caught there. Again, he is the gem carrier, so instead of manning up with a lasso, we'll just back it on up and play it safe. Puck now completes his BKB, so Magic Immunity aplenty coming out onto the field, 2 on each side. As now xGame smoked up in the mid lane. They're looking for the right angle to find initiation here. 2x multi bloodlust on
this is risky now. If this goes bad, they have no buyback.
Magnus looking for the skewer, but can't find it now. Stallcat could be in some trouble. Bulldog comes forward, gets off the lasso, but no Firefly will still manage to pull him to the high ground with the Force Staff. He'll be able to Force Staff himself back down, but the damage coming out on the Magnus is just too much. He'll be the first to go down with the RP still off cooldown. Now it's Wadafuck in the front lines. He gets swapped, put in a bad position, and goes down despite the Magic Immunity. Can they interrupt some TPs coming out? Reeves will get hexed. He won't be able to mount the escape. Gets blocked in by Chessie. Silence bursted down, and he will fall. Equal suffers a similar fate. It ends as a 4-0 exchange, and Risk was the right word to describe that engagement, Cattle Guy.
Yeah, I mean, jumping in for a skewer like that was just a roll of the dice, I guess, almost to get a hold of someone. And Bulldog, the quick bet right there, was able to just jump out and try to get something going for themselves. It was a little sloppy at the start, but Chessie landing a very nice coil, locking the majority of xGames in an uncomfortable position, allowed the rest of Alliance to sweep on in. And, well, Spectre immediately recognized that that was not going that great and immediately pulled out and used the Haunted benefit to retreat back up to the top lane. And, under the gun right now. Chessie moves on in, sheeps out. The Spectre looking to try to get away from this one, but wants to be able to take Aki before he does go. And actually, might be able to get a double kill here. Big damage still coming out from the grave. Aki doing serious work with these birds, focusing him back, but the Radiance burn and plenty of damage here from Mantis. And oh, hello. Hey, now you're nice and wounded for Loda to sweep on in and try to go for the target. Can he get into the trees and get away from this one? Ake going to continuously hunt him out. The Bloodhounds, I guess you could say. Catching him out right here, put into a corner. There is nowhere you can hide, sir. We found you. And they get the prize Spectre taken down. And, well, Spectre, though, does have a buyback available. Managed to farm it up after the conclusion of that previous fight. Plus the benefit of those 2 kills helped that.
Yeah,
but
ended a mega kill streak on that puck. So still an okay trade for Mantis. Him being in the grave is what's really scary, though. There's no Alliance will move towards the high ground. Misery takes a Dragon Tail, but Bulldog's there, still with the gem in tow. Will be able to high ground. What a fuck it. He'll just have to stand up there as Bulldog gets cheeky, knocks him down to his demise with that flame break. Having a little bit of fun with it. That was a Jimmy play right there.
Well, I don't know what they're thinking, moving out into their own jungle there. A fight had just occurred in that area, I guess, thinking with those 2 supports down there wasn't going to be much. But with the familiars and the rest of the company on hand, they get caught out very easily, and they don't have the benefit of that Spectre. And here's Lowe's Illusions. Already taking it to these racks. One rack has already fallen equal. Desperately trying to get rid of these illusions. Oh, God, get them the hell out of here. And he finally does.
Yeah, this is where Naga just gets so hard to deal with. The illusions are so damn tanky. As another 4,500 gold up and start looking towards evasion, most likely. And with the top lane of Barracks halfway killed, this is where Alliance can just kind of play this slow, choky kind of game and just tighten that noose over the next 5-10 minutes, do some chip damage at the base, and xGame will just eventually run out of resources. Even though the Radiant Spectre is scary towards the late game, doesn't quite have that same just, let me just keep shoving illusions at your base and chipping at these structures. There's a full butterfly picked up onto Loda.
So he's getting near that point of just the pinnacle 6-slot Naga now. And
mass, yeah.
You also pull out your your shepherd's stick at this point. You just kind of corral your enemies into their own base. We saw it just there on the mini-map. Feeling xGame should not be pressing their luck, pushing past the front gates of this one. And, well, as I say that, they get caught out right here. Kidnapped. It's going to be equal. Brought back RP in defense right now, but do they have the follow-up to make it work? The song, though, to slow the roll. The BKB allowing them to continue pursuit here, but they know that they are not going to be coming out on top of this one. The BKBs do expire. They're slept up. Lena going to be taken down. They want Magnus Net. They should be able to get it, and they do. Mantis, one of the last lone survivors in this fight, gets caught out with a Dream Coil. Lena returns right back into the fray after a buyback, looking to take it back. The big Laguna Slam, able to take out the Vengeful Spirit. And Spectre continues on the hunt. Loda and Bulldog split apart to try to, share the awareness here, as now Spectre is going to pursue onto Bulldog. And, I don't know if he'll be able to get away from this one. He gets Dragon-tailed up and bursted down. So a 3-for-1 exchange. A bit uncomfortable there for Alliance, but I guess a small victory in the end here for xGame.
Kind of a 3-for-2 with the Lena buyback. Right. But you're definitely right. A worthy buyback on the Lena, and still a good fight for the Dire side. Looking at the change, they get a big, almost 3K net worth jump and a decent chunk of experience to boot. And glancing at the graph, we should see that reflected. Still a big lead for Alliance. Bottom tier 2 tower. The last outer tower for the Dire will fall. It gets denied by Reeves, but still down she goes.
Yeah, it's Alliance. It's Ake right there with those familiars to just whittle down those towers on the side while attention is put elsewhere. But I mean, I guess they get denied, so a small benefit. But now with all outer towers taken down, the choke point into the base just becomes that much more of a reality.
So, Assault Kuras now up on the Dragon Knight. Good item pickup here, just kind of in general. Helps soften him up and will allow easier pushing for xGame when they have the opportunity to move into the base. Visage probably looking for a Shivas, but does have a plate mail of his own, pulling up some of that gold. Any other big item pickups following these skirmishes? Doesn't look like it. Loda no longer holding the Aegis. He'll still have plenty of gold to play around with, though. Back up to 3,500. We'll be able to ditch that bottle and move into his final item. He may be looking for a Diffusal of his own. Just a great utility item on the Naga. Helps up your damage, and having that Purge ability is definitely one that comes in handy.
We'll have to see if they work that out for themselves. And I feel like part of the reason that xGame are still being able to go toe-to-toe in a lot of these fights is definitely this Magnus in power. Being able to be placed on the Spectre adds so much extra damage, that extra cleave, of course, and that's able to rip through a lot of the Alliance squad, especially if they're getting caught close and together, which is pretty much their primary focus. If you got Bulldog trying to initiate in with the lasso, bringing it back to the rest of the team, they are going to be caught awfully close together, allowing them to rip through. So, you know, we'll have to see positioning, and it's going to get pretty crucial here. They sweep on through top jungle, see if they can scout anyone out. There's your Wave of Terror. Swap going to catch on Lina right here. Lina desperately pulls out the Ghost Scepter. Multicast going to come out here, but they get caught with the two-man Dream Coil pushing on through. Here comes Bulldog. Kidnapping of Reeds. Let's go to the high ground, my friend. Brings him on up and looking to take him down with ease. Ogre with nowhere to go to get away from this one, but Mantis manages to clean up a kill on both supports right now as they look to counter back. Looking to push on forward. It is... Look at Stallcat. He's trying to get on a hunt here, getting up with Loda, but he can't quite catch up. Two for one. 2 for 1. That
was a really awkward fight where Loda was off by himself kind of on this portion of the map and Song of the Siren to try and break things up and keep himself alive. And then meanwhile, there was this skirmish going out here. They got high ground, and it was just a little too chaotic for Alliance, where they need to be all grouped up, and they needed Loda basically in the fray. At this point, he's their big damage dealer, and while he's back by himself just trying to stay alive with that Song of the Siren.
They are being so pesky.
They don't pack the punch, yeah.
Right after the conclusion of that fight, which looked rough for them, they're just doing these little cheeky tactics, and you see the Naga Illusion top lane just kind of taking it to the racks. Ake using those familiars, just constantly adding the extra damage. This is just becoming quickly frustrating for xGames.
Yeah, unfortunately for Alliance, the top barracks will regenerate, but mid lane, Bulldog uses the lasso. Loda's there. They'll go in onto Mantis. But can they actually bring him down?
Wow.
Mantis giving it to Loda here. He does have a Song of the Siren. Doesn't need to use it as now Chessie comes in. There's your silence. The Hex to break it up. It's a dead Spectre. Stallcat comes in. RP on one. But Chessie will survive as the Force Staff is there. There's the swap. They'll interrupt him with the Dream Coil and the Flame Break. And it ends as a 2-0 in the mid. And now Alliance with a big window of opportunity. Spectre has the buyback, but Magnus is 200 gold short.
And it was just a bit of a misplay right there. xGame trying to commit on a fight there in the mid lane, even though they didn't quite have the backup. The backup, meanwhile, trying to deal out with defense because constantly Ake adding pressure. They do manage to take down those familiars in the top lane, but the important thing is they're not there in the fight, and Magnus just a little late to the party, trying to jump in, and, well, he ends up feeding himself over. He has no buyback. Spectre has about a minute left on her own death timer, but does have buyback available. Will not need to put it out, as they are not going to add some pressure into the base. Instead, they're going to take this window of opportunity to battle with the big one.
Actually, they will pressure the base. Loda's got illusions going to every lane, finds a tier 3 tower kill while this is happening. So creating some space for the team while they move into a Roche. That's uncontested. This time, Puck will be the one to grab the Aegis of the Immortal. I guess kind of recognizing at this point Loda is nigh unkillable with 3,100 hit points and a Song of the Siren to reset. Bulldog hops forward looking for initiation onto Wadafaka. Won't be able to find it. Where did the gem go? It traded hands, and it is now on the Dire side. Reeves is the one holding on to it on Tubby Ogre there, but now no glyph available. Range tracks in the mid will fall, and this is where things get tough. Spectre has a buyback, but doesn't want to burn it with 10 seconds left. This is now a huge window to do some crippling damage. Equal will get lassoed off to the side. Will be able to live to tell the tale. Spectre up in just a couple of seconds, but Loda preemptively using the Song, just creating some space as he TPs home. Melee barracks in the mid and top still standing. Puck will bring down Lina before he makes the escape, but now can he actually mount the escape? It doesn't look like it. Dragon Tail will bring him down. That utilizes the Aegis of the Immortal, but Puck, very elusive. Will have a Blink Dagger up in just 1 second. Gets off the phase shift, the Blink, the Orb, still a BKB available, and Chessie will survive.
Yep, Mantis comes right back, promptly uses that haunt, catches out Bulldog, quickly takes him down, and then jumps up to this top lane where he continues to go on pursuit for Chessie here. Not looking to let up, uses the diffusal rather to slow him down, and oh no, Puck forced to pull out the Ghost Scepter to get away from this one. Can he pull out the Blink, the Disjoint Gear? Can he be able to jump up maybe to the north? He will. Jumps up to the north, no TP to get away from this one, but he is causing him to really sweat it out for this one. There is your second phase shift, and ultimately, finally, they manage to take down Chessie.
Yeah, a little space creation there, and does take a lot of their attention. Unfortunately, Loda not able to shove illusions and do anything too crippling during that timing window, but this is just looking rough for the Dire side. Even when they find little recovery kills, they break even in these fights. It seems every time Alliance just get one additional structure, do a little bit of extra damage, and just look at this tier 3 down bottom. It's down below half health, and this Rat Dota is just too damn effective. These illusions are too difficult to deal with, and sure, Spectre can chomp him down, but he's the only one that can really do it efficiently.
Oh, the Courier ends up getting taken down. It looked like en route from the side shop, or the
quarter
secret shop,
staff,
rather. And it had
magic stick.
1,100 gold
Yeah,
worth
so
of items.
Mantis
so.
looking towards a butterfly of his own, and actually would have had it. So now that's actually huge. He has enough to buy the Eagle Song, and with that quarterstaff down, he won't be able to complete the item. Maybe not in time for this next fight, as Alliance are already grouped up, knocking on the front door.
Yep, and they're looking to press on forward here, maybe get something going. Probably their all or nothing play. There's a jumping from Bulldog. Oh no! Oh, he didn't. He canceled the RP. I thought he used it right there, but they actually get the pull back here. They're going for Reeves. There's your song, and no. Alliance do not like this engagement. They decide to eject out of this one, but still on pursuit here. xGame pressing on forward. They use the Haunt to see a swap back here to try to get away from this one, but Misery and Ake hand in hand might have to fall. Oh, the slowdown from the birds! Nice job, Ake, but unfortunately to no avail as they quickly get ripped apart.
Alive. That's pretty good. That makes it just one down, and all that time, space creation. Tier 3 towers down. Coddle Guide and Illusions were shoving in there, and they also got the melee racks at the top. Even just putting them to sleep while the creeps mixed with the illusions go into the base is all Alliance have to do to secure a victory. And now just 3 single buildings standing between xGame and certain defeat. More illusions coming in. Just look at this army of Nagas! Oh my god.
This is dirty.
This is dirty indeed. He'll go straight for the range racks down bottom, a little bit of chip on the melee racks there in the mid, and this might be a range racks kill. They just can't beat the illusions.
Oh, stop it! Stop it!
Oh. 60 hit points, but again, the difference here is this costs Loda absolutely nothing. Just a little bit of mana that he's more than happy to spend, and they don't get anything out of it. No gold, no experience. This is
a slow siege if I've ever seen one. Yeah. It's almost like water torture here for xGame. They might just need to consider going for an all or nothing. It's very apparent that eventually they're just gonna, their buildings are gonna crumble. Like while they're getting focused on a fight and trying to get something going as far as that goes, the illusions are just going to creep themselves onto the base and just rip apart all remaining structures. So I think they just need to get a little more ballsy here and just go for an all or nothing kind of a play and make something happen. You already see Dragon Knight looking to press on forward with his Shadow Blade to scout out as much information as possible. I'm going to catch Chessie here, but his Shadow Blade's about to expire. Chessie probably blinks away. Grabs up the E-Blade here. Remember, the E-Blade is a ranged attack, or not ranged, but a projectile now, not instant, so it can be disjointed, but, you know, they don't manage to catch anyone out here, and they're just going to continue the slow siege if they are given the opportunity. And for xGame here, it's going to be what could be their final defense.
Yeah, now the courier will come back up in time for Spectre to grab his butterfly, but Wadafaka goes in onto Chessie, opens with the stun. Fairy Dragon will BKB or back, and oh, he won't be able to jaunt to it. Now he'll be on the run. Illusion's coming in. Oh, this puck, I think he's done for.
Oh, gets it. Very nice grab right here.
But mid lane, that's a melee barracks down. So
just when you think xGame got something going their way, they are like, yeah, guys, we did it. We got it. And you look back and you realize that you're
actually, now we're just half of a melee racks away from
living room has been ripped all apart in your base, and you're like, really, all we have left is this one Brax holding between megas. This is rough.
Bulldog, he grabs equal here, and Vanguard and the Buckler, they'll tank him up, but just not enough to survive the wrath of the Bulldog.
Look at
gives him the rabies.
The Illusion's just bloodthirsty for this Rax. Lotus sending him all the way from the top lane, and this forces xGames to have at least, you know, maybe half of their staff on defensive duty and the other half trying to press out, but I don't see any sort of opportunity for xGame to go on the offensive. It would take a severe team up. But look at Ake with the birds! Moves on in and just doing damage and trying to dodge them all around, hiding them in the trees to get away from this one. Then Naga Illusion moves in. This is just awful. There is really nothing.
And they have a glyph, but the question is, when do you use it? It's just all this little bit of chip damage. You know, it's like a bunch of little kids with sock and poppers just hitting you in the knees, and you're like, well, I don't want to kill you individually, but
the birds move back in.
When you're all mixed together,
I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna
get
it.
Look at this. 200 hit points. Oh, Alliance. I think they're going to do it, but this slow, steady siege, this is kind of painful to watch.
Alliance are doing it. They're going to take it.
Yeah, they certainly are. xGame to fall. And look, they're all just clumped up. They're going to defend this structure with all their might. Illusions coming in one at a time. Riptide structure taking some more damage, and Alliance are nowhere to be found. It's just Illusions. Now Lotus says, like, okay, I'll go for the tier 4s.
AFK Gaming at this point just eventually sending Illusions slowly but surely, and it's like molasses as the base just slowly but surely gets taken down. I'm sure Alliance, if they want, they could go probably for the crushing blow. That one big uppercut strike right to the jaw, but they'd rather just kind of slowly pelt here and there. But here we go mid lane. A big engagement breaks out on Loda, and he gets taken down.
Oh, yeah. They can crowd control him down just long enough, and he
does
can't
have
get off the
buyback,
song.
So.
Of course. So you could buy back BOT into the bottom lane and do something fishy, but no, they'll just back up. Looks
Top
like the
creeps are pushing in,
got
so
killed out. Yeah, so they're going to wait for more birds. They've got 9 seconds until Ake has the cooldown, but now xGame on the aggressive, at the very least, forcing out a buyback onto Loda here. It could be big. And they'll be in the front lines. Butterflies online for the Spectre. They'll go for it.
Yep, and we'll see. Loda's still weighing out. Got another minute before he comes into this one, but I would imagine a buyback coming out soon. Wow.
Take a Laguna to the face. Down he goes. Buyback from Loda. Now remember, there is some rat abilities here where xGame could just like look at a base race and Loda can go straight for the throne and go for the Megas. What a fucker will get isolated. He'll fall. Now Mantis gets silenced up. He's on the run, but he's in some trouble. I'm not sure he'll be able to survive this one. Dream Coil's been deployed, and he'll fall.
Immediate
Double
buyback.
buybacks now to try and defend the base as... Nope, the one melee Rax is still standing, but eek.
Yeah, eek indeed. They make their first debut into the Alliance base, but really, what did they get done? They done a whole lot. Some damage on that tier 3, but obviously in comparison, it's just not much to stand. And as xGame's base still just very, very low. That Rax is healing up, however, but it's only a matter of time before something happens. I know, Spectre nearly 6 slot at this point. I can't help but wonder, would things have helped out a little bit better? Maybe if she considered going for a refresher in this game, having the benefit of that double haunt, even if it's a buyback and haunt to get back into the fray.
It's possible.
It could have been different, but, that would have taken away one of these crucial items as far as damage. And
yeah. I think that's a good 7th item to look at here because you can micro that one on the courier, put it down when it's on cooldown. So I think still a worthy investment for the Spectre if they can get there. This game very well may not last long enough for it to make a difference. As third Roche is respawned, and we'll see a fight break out around the pit. Bulldog will start things off with the lasso onto Reeves. Loda will use the Song of the Siren to isolate Mantis as well as Whatafaka, but Magnus comes in. He's got an RP. He'll use it onto Loda. Swap from Misery will keep Loda alive. The follow-up damage isn't there. And no one going down
Loda
quite yet.
Has no buyback if he gets taken down here.
Oh, he's taking a lot of damage. Misery up to the side. He's low. Loda falls. It's a 2-0 to get things started. They lose their Magnus, but xGame, they've got a big window of opportunity. The Magnus will buy back. They've got to defend the base. Creeps are shoving in, but now the rest of their team pressing for the aggressive. This is very scary. No buybacks available on anyone except the Bulldog.
And they press on forward here. Uh-oh. xGame, we're going to come knocking at that mid tier 3 tower. If they take that down, they can then segue into the tier 4s here, and we got still 80 seconds till Loda comes back.
No glyph either. They could just kind of bum rush this, and maybe we'll see some kind of an ogre suicide for the heal. That could be interesting as they just go straight into the base. Backdoor protection or not, they'll go for it. They bring down the tower. It is still a 5v3 on the field, but in comes Chessie doing as much damage as he can to get it started. They'll get the Crimson Guard buff, and that'll help keep him alive. They'll go for the barracks. Just go for the tier 4s, baby. Yes, they will. Bulldog, BKB on, will isolate Stallcat towards the well, and it won't be enough to start taking damage from the fire bush. Whatafaka taking a lot of damage from the towers. They're biding their time pretty effectively. Ake is getting clicked down by Mantis. He'll go down. Now Chessie off to the side, trying to repel as best he can.
Tier 4s. They're going for it.
Oh my gosh. Will xGame actually
35 seconds for Loda to come back. They got to slow this down. That's one tier 4 down. Mantis going right for it.
Yeah, he'll go right in, and Chessie will secure the kill onto Whatafaka. Admiral Bulldog is ready to fight. Equal taking a lot of damage. Mantis just focusing the towers. They're not going to have enough damage for it. They've got 20 seconds until Loda comes up. Bulldog's here. RP from the Magnus. It'll get whiffed as he gets flame broken back. Bulldog secures the kill. It's Mantis versus the world. Finds the kill on the puck, but it's an instant buyback from Chessie. Now Mantis trying to decide what the best course of action is. He's still got Reeves with him. They'll try to just chop down the towers. They'll find it. It's just the throne, but Loda, he's up in 2 seconds.
And he'll have
Chessie taking a lot of damage. Song of the Siren will be able to break things up.
Oh,
the visit, they have to back up, but this is close. Their throne almost exposed. Their tier 4 towers soon to fall. They'll lose all of them. Mantis will be able to defend the throne. The bottom barracks, you got to keep this alive, buddy. This is your one structure. Get over there. Uh-oh. Meanwhile, on the retreat, Reeves will get caught out, and now things looking very grim for xGame.
Oh, no. Wow, that was a That was a bit of a burst from him. It was close. It was real close indeed. And, well, I guess technically it's not over, but Loda already now pressing past the river, looking to draw attention towards the south right here. But Roche is up. If they want to be able to get that extra life, they could sneak in and grab that one early if they want to play it a little extra safe. But no, they don't. Loda looking to press on through. Hey, get that courier. They ensnare it down. Oh,
it's got a refresher
the refresher that we were hoping for is gone.
No.
Oh. That could have been the lone dark horse to bring xGame potentially a strong defense to come back in this one, but now that's gone.
Where does he haunt to?
Oh, no.
He hops right onto Bulldog. Bulldog uses his BKB as now Mantis. He's slowed up. He takes the defusal from Loda. He's on the run. Will get stunned up by the familiars. If Mantis goes down here, this will seal the deal. He has no buyback. He has no refresher. Now caught inside of the ensnare, but he's just too damn big. They can't bring him down. Loda, he just wants the structures. They'll be forced to BKB, and this will be mega creeps coming out of. Yes, it will. Alliance one step closer to sealing the deal. All the tier 4s are down. Now it's just the throne. But xGame, they are respawning. The puck is still dead. This is getting tense, Coddle Guy. There's still a sliver of hope. If xGame can turtle up for just 2 minutes, get that refresher off the courier, I think there may be, just maybe, a small chance.
xGame's on critical life support, though, looking to try to come back from this one. And you know, now they have to pull out all the defenses they got. This is the point of the game where you might have to leave your supports behind, trying your best to defend out your homeland right here, and hoping for Mantis to just go and push in, go for your all or nothing, try to get something going into the opponent's base, but they're constantly adding pressure here on the side of Alliance, just looking to make them go on forward, and I don't know, man. It's too rough to tell here. Wada fucking looking to scout out forward with that Shadow Blade.
But buybacks are cooling down. This is where things get really interesting. We've got a couple coming up in just a matter of seconds. Illusions moving into the base, doing damage to the Ancient and just softening it up. And Alliance will continue to do this rat style and keep xGame isolated. But I don't know. I think there's still a sliver of hope. Loda will have buyback money this time. He's got 10,000 gold. So that's the real heartbreaker for xGame. They'll have to kill Loda twice before they can.
And you
really
got to remember,
the deal.
He has Song of the Siren, so
and BOT, so he can always just BOT into their base and go for the killing blow while they're trying to finish off the throne of their own. And of course, Loda has the pushing advantage there.
This is rough. I mean, you get to the point where it's like, I just want to watch. I just want to see how the hell this is going to unfold at this point. I mean,
the familiars
still very grim for xGame. Jump in, they grab equal. They could burst down the support quick enough. They can take her out of the element here. But here comes the Haunt, actually, as it looks like maybe Mantis might commit on something here. No, just looking to harass back with the Haunt instead. And, well, they do manage to take down. But Mantis is stuck on defensive duty here, preventing these Naga illusions from going right for the throne. And well,
Jesse will get the E-Blade out on the equal, and, well, Lina will fall. And this is a 1-for-1 trade in that mid-lane skirmish, but the Mega Creeps are just too much. The Throne taking so much damage when they even hint at leaving the base, now down well below half health. And I think this will be too much. Alliance will be able to just slow siege this to victory. They've got to burn mana and spells just to take out the illusions from Loda. Although, what a fucker, he's in pursuit.
I can't help but feel like, you know, had Ogre been a Shadow Shaman instead, you know, also providing lockdown, but could have had like wards to benefit that push a little bit better. You know, things could have gone so differently, but that's all. That's an all if and hypothetical kind of a situation, I guess. At this point, is xGame just kind of slowly accepting the fact that this could be it for him. A new defusal, a fresh one, going to be picked up here for Mantis, and
double refresher now.
The refresher now.
One on Bat Rider, and yeah, the Spectre refresher is here, just hanging out in the safety deposit box. 45 seconds till his ultimate comes up, Throne. Well below half hit points still. Alliance, I thought they were thinking about Roche. I mean, even just a cheese at this point wouldn't hurt. And they know xGame are turtled up in their base, so it's not so risky. And yeah, there we go. Now they'll move into it. Who grabs the cheese and who grabs the Aegis? That's the question. We're at that point where everyone is kind of slotted out. Loda does not have a spot to spare. Ake can take at least one of them. It will be the Aegis going the way of Puck. Cheese is going to go the way of Ake. And now, looks like Alliance will just move in for that finishing blow. There's a gem on the ground, but nobody could care less.
Nope, and we'll have to see. There's going to be, what we would imagine is one more big team fight to come, and power constantly be put on Spectre 24/7 at this point. It's going to be a double haunt potentially here, and we'll see if that's going to be enough to try to take down as much of Alliance as possible, or if Alliance are going to just try to get something happening, whether it's rat style or not, constantly adding pressure from all the lanes. Those illusions just putting in the mileage this game as far as adding pressure. Pretty much no building to stand. I mean, I'm zooming out, I'm seeing nothing nearly left in the base. It's just
one little building over there.
It's like Space Invaders here, trying to prevent them to getting close to the home base here, just constantly trying to keep them out. And it's rough times right now, and Alliance, they know as well that if they overcommit, they get sloppy, they lose their team, and you know, things can get a little risky, though. They're going to wait. They're going to secure a couple of buybacks, I would imagine, for the most of their team and just make things a little bit more safer.
Yeah, I think for xGame to win this, they'll have to like full wipe Alliance, push forward, force the buyback, kill Loda again, and well, they'll get things started with Misery. Haunt out of the base. They'll get down the Spectre, or pardon me, down the Venge right away. And now, where do they go from here? Song the Siren from Loda, number 1. What a fucking Stallcat will get isolated. And now What a Fucker will get taken down. Stallcat able to blink to safety, or will he? He'll try to TP home. Flame Break is there. Lasso on point. And yeah, this is looking like the beginning of the end. Haunt once more from Spectre. Stallcat's still alive, but only for a few seconds longer. Down she goes, and the Throne did take a little bit of extra damage during that skirmish. Now Loda pressing forward. I think they still have Aegis and Cheese. Yep, certainly so. Magnus, no buyback. DK, no buyback. And it will be a 4v3 on the field with Aegis and Cheese. I think this is the end, Cop Guy.
They get a coil there. I mean, they have the glyph, but really with only Mantis to stand and trying to hold them out, I don't think it's going to be possible here. Loda trying to divert the tension elsewhere, but that leaves the creeps to move on in. And well, there's your glyph, but yeah, this is going to be it, folks. And there's your GG. That was a long one. 65 minutes. Alliance had a very strong game, but very surprising performance coming out from xGame, the team that's pitted last right now in Starladder, really giving Alliance a run for their money in that one, and what turned out to be quite the rat race.
Yeah, and that's been kind of the story of this patch. We saw it from Fnatic yesterday. They were upset by Cleave, who were in last place, and that win actually pushed them up a couple of notches. So, well, things getting interesting. Now, we'll have a very quick break here, as that was a long game to get things started. It will be Alliance versus Fnatic coming up next. So we got a good one on our hands. And stick around, guys, because plenty more Dota 2 action coming your way for this day of Starladder EU coverage.